procs for now, which will give him that sustain that he wants. But if he can start blocking those abilities from Brand, that'll really help him out. Warwick getting a little bit low, but Riven is as well, and he does have that ward there. Lee Sin can get in on a gank pretty quickly, and we haven't seen Lee Sin in a while. Based on the time, I was about to say he would have gotten his red buff now. So there you see he has his red buff, so he's cleared his jungle. So it is about that time we'd expect to see him really aggressive again. Caitlyn just throwing off some free damage. That ace in the hole, taking a ton of damage. About a third of Kog'Maw's health is barely going to miss that Piltover Peacemaker. And you saw that Lee Sin actually also had an Oracle's. Where is he? Here he is. So he is going to come through, clear out this ward. He does have him in Dreads. He doesn't have a Wriggles yet, so it will be difficult for him to clear Dragon on his own. If he had Wriggles, then he'd be able to do it easily. But he is coming mid, trying to get a gank onto Brand, and so you see Brand doing an excellent job shying away from this bottom brush and moving more towards top lane so that he can avoid that gank. To continue to look at items, we see Brand did get those little early Dorans. Really they're kind of like mini Rod of Ages, and I always love that. They do give you that health and that early ability power, but then also the mana regen is really effective for kind of spamming early on. Udyr does have a number of things that he could clear from his jungle, but he's trying to be aggressive here. He runs into a Caitlyn trap, so they do have vision of him. He wants to make sure that they're not going to be able to clear this dragon. And Riven and Warwick just kind of exchanging damage. It's hard to say who's on top. Warwick does have that sustain. Riven does have a little bit more damage. Warwick is chasing after a little bit. But they are going for Dragon. It's going to be difficult for them to get in here. Brand is going to try and kind of cut off Ryze, and Ryze comes in. Brand throws off the ultimate. It's not going to bounce on anyone, but Lee Sin had been taking a lot of damage, and Caitlyn and Cog are chasing down, or Cog and Janna are chasing down Caitlyn, and now they've zoned them all off, and Team Green Forest, they're all very low. It will be difficult for them to defend this. Udyr's not going to take any damage against this dragon, particularly with that shield. Lee Sin is going to try and get in a gank, so Udyr's going to stall for a second, and then Brand just barely missing the Q. The fantastic flash from Lee Sin, able to get out of there, but now there's really no way for them to defend. They are going to get this dragon. So I'll take a look at top for a second. Well, I guess looking at the items, we see Warwick does have that Philo Stone, is going to give him a little bit more gold advantage, whereas Riven doesn't have that Philo Stone. But then they both went Wriggles. They know that they're really just sustaining against each other. The Wriggles will also allow them to kind of push back the lane against each other. Warwick not really strong against a lane push if Riven was really aggressive about clearing these creeps, which is why a lot of these times you're seeing Riven clearing all the creeps and Warwick just sitting there tanking the minions. But that Wriggles, the procs will allow him to clear out creep waves easier and keep them off of his tower. And we'll also definitely with the vision from the ward, and then also some survivability as the game progresses. But you see, Warwick just kind of taking those creeps, just regenning. He doesn't really mind it. Brand is going to get this blue from Udyr, so that'll definitely help him out with the spammability and trying to get some damage off. And Riven coming in very aggressively. Did Warwick ult underneath the tower? I'm not sure, but that wind slash from Riven is going off, and Warwick is going to back out now. So both of them probably pretty close. Udyr coming up, trying to see if he can get a gank, but he's really just going to hold the lane. Warwick's actually just going to come right back up to these creeps. He knows he has that regen, so he's going to be okay. And bot lane is going to go down, so that early advantage from Team Green Forest. And then the ace in the hole will be blocked by Janna. She was trying to get that off onto Cog, and based on the damage we saw earlier, that would be enough. Janna also potentially had the shield, but I think the shield was on cooldown because we saw Cog, or the tower had the shield a second ago, trying to prevent them from taking that tower. So really just a huge early game advantage for bot lane from Team Green Forest. You see that in their farm as well. Caitlyn up 40 CS, or actually 30 CS on Kog'Maw. She will be going for a fast Infinity Edge. She hasn't finished her boots yet, but she knows that she kind of can position herself pretty well. Udyr coming in onto Ryze. He is backing up. I'm not sure if it's because Lee Sin should have seen them, but it's hard to say whether or not they did, or if Lee Sin was seen by that ward. And Caitlyn just still coming in very aggressively. They do have Soraka to kind of zone them off. And now Brand is coming down. They do have Udyr as well, but they have the clairvoyance from Soraka. She saw that, doing a good job with that map vision. She saw that Brand left mid lane, so she did a CV right in the middle of that jungle. So they know they can safely push up this far and not really have the threat of a, gank against them. Ryze does have that Banshee's Veil, so he is going to be farming pretty well from now on, and will be able to control the lane. Brand will want to watch out. You know, as long as Rise can avoid the Cataclysm, he will be okay as far as damage is concerned, and Brand won't be able to get off a stun anywhere near as easily. So Rise could potentially try and harass him soon, but we do see Udyr is here, and Janet actually gets an Oracles of her own, so 2 Oracles, a little bit surprising. That's a lot of gold put into Oracles. You know, potentially it could have been put into items. But, you know, if one of them does go down, they will have excellent map control, and Janna can clear these wards bottom without Udyr having to come down, and Rise is going to throw off some damage onto Udyr, but Rise is in the middle here. Where is Brand? Here he is. He's going to hit the W, and he's going to probably get the stun. Where's the stun? He throws off the ultimate. It's bouncing back and forth, but Soraka is there for the heals, and Brand does go down. Udyr being chased away, but the snare from Rise, they are able to pick up that kill. So really effective play from Team Green Forest so far. They are taking, you know, kind of control of this game, though 40 Bus Gaming, they do have that dragon, so that is a little bit of an advantage there. I also believe that they kind of have a little bit stronger teamfight team as the you know, early parts of the game progress. But we do see Brand working on that Rabadons, and Warwick teleporting in, wants to prevent damage from that tower, and Rise taking a significant amount of damage from that tower. But he is going to back off, and Lee Sin is getting out of there. Still holding on to that Oracles, but Riven is going to take a lot of damage onto this top tower in the meantime. So very quickly, they're kind of running them around, getting this map control. They have the bot tower, so they can be really aggressive down there, and then Riven's being aggressive top lane, pushing the tower down, kind of pulling 40 Bus Gaming all over the place. We do see a Spirit Visage from Warwick. You know, excellent item decision. We'll give him a little bit of magic resist and the cooldowns. Oh, well, that's weird. There we go. You know, but also the cooldown reduction and the bonus heal, he will be able to be very tanky early on. Is a very nice early game tanking item. And we do see Riven did have a ward down here. Janna's going to try and clear it out. Since Brand was there. Lee Sin is jumping in onto Udyr, and Udyr's going to chase him down. There's Brand. He doesn't get the stun. The flash from Lee Sin, just barely able to get it off. And Udyr is going to want to get out of there. He doesn't want to take too much damage. But Janna did clear out these wards. She is coming in on top of Riven. They do have that Warwick ultimate. Not a lot of damage, but they will be able to get some damage. I'm surprised that they didn't go in a little bit more aggressively for it. But I guess they knew that they weren't going to be able to get the kill. But they could have harassed Riven down where Riven wouldn't be as safe in lane. Udyr is coming up very aggressively into this jungle, but they do see him. He does need to watch out. He is being surrounded. He does have 2 people here, and then Riven on top. There's Riven coming in. He is going to be able to get out of there. I'm not sure if he had his flash up or not. Hopefully he did. To be that aggressive in a kind of counter jungle situation, they will want to try and get some wards. But Lee Sin does have that Oracles, so they do have a little bit of vision. But they, you know, really need to clear that Oracles off of Lee Sin in order to kind of take back that map control. Caitlyn did finish her Infinity Edge, so she's really dishing out a lot of damage. Kog'Maw is working on an Infinity Edge of his own. He is a little bit behind Caitlyn. Though not that much actually, so it is pretty even with the early advantage that Caitlyn had. You know, Soraka does have triple gold per 5 items, so she's going to have a lot of gold as the game progresses, probably switching into an ability power build, so she has those mega heals. And then Rise continuing to beef up that mana. Really a late tier the goddess, so a little bit surprising, but it will give him a lot of mana. You know, and I guess they know that this game isn't going to be ending really that soon, so he will be able to build it up. They are all moving down, but Caitlyn throwing off a ton of damage onto Janna. Brand is low as well. Kog'Maw is not in the best situation. He wants to kind of try and get back for his team. If Team Green Forest pushed in right here, they could split them in half. Rise throwing off a ton of damage over this wall, just barely not able to pick up that kill onto Brand. Brand will flash away. If Lee Sin had jumped in on him, they would have been able to pick up that kill, but Rise coming over this wall, he is going to try and chase them down, and Kog'Maw is going to potentially pick up this kill onto Dragon. He's got to stop. It's taking too much damage, and Lee Sin jumping on top of Udyr is able to pick up that kill. Is Warwick going to go down? The ace in the hole is going to pick up the kill onto Warwick, and Kog'Maw is running out of there. Kog probably could have walked back a step and blocked that for him because no one was chasing them, but they are going to get this dragon. So 2 kills and a free dragon, and not only that, Riven wasn't even there. Riven is pushing top lane. I'm assuming Riven had that teleport so that they could, you know, kind of control that fight, but that was a 4v5 fight that they lost. So that's huge. Team Green Forest really getting out to a lead here. Riven was able to pick up most of that tower damage. It will go down very shortly, and Caitlyn is going to take up this tower mid. She will have enough damage. There's no one to defend it. So, they have all 3 towers down. They have it's a 1-to-1 dragon, but then it's 6-to-2 currently, and they also have a slight farm advantage. So that's really just astounding. You see 199 CS from Riven, so she's just been doing an excellent job farming. But then also, while Warwick kind of left that lane, Riven was just in control. Warwick did have to go mid for a little bit to hold that lane. So really huge early game advantage for Team Green Forest. It is still anyone's game. 40buzz Gaming does have great damage output, and if they can get Udyr and Warwick a little bit tankier and then try and pick people off in fights, that'll be key, whether or not they can get their pickoffs. We've seen Team Green Forest has been able to pick off their targets, but if 40buzz Gaming can start picking off theirs, then they do have enough farm to control these fights and very quickly come back into this game. Caitlyn is going to throw off the trap, and Janna walking the trap. She's going to take a lot of damage. They are coming down, trying to get this, and Brand was able to pick up that blue, so excellent job there. They are all going to be able to get out. Lee Sin throwing a Q, trying to kind of get vision. I'm not sure he would jump into that. That would pretty much be suicide. But they are coming in, trying to be aggressive while they still have this advantage. They'll probably start, grouping up a lot soon. But Kog'Maw, with that range damage, he's just throwing off those ultimates onto Ryze, and the trap is hit from Janna, so they do have vision of her. But Warwick ulting on top of Ryze, Lee Sin kicking him off, trying to get him out of there. Ryze getting very low, but I'm a little bit surprised they weren't able to pick up that kill. But now they are probably going to be able to pick up this mid tower as long as they play it right. Kog does have that great range damage. He is throwing it off onto Caitlyn. Wow, Caitlyn going down to a 3rd health. Kog is chasing. He throws off the ultimate, but Caitlyn flashing out of there. And in the meantime, this is a 4v5 as well. Riven was able to take a tower and is still pushing into the base.